Daniel sat across from Lena at the small Italian place tucked into the corner of Main Street, a place she'd recommended. He'd suggested something flashier downtown, but she'd said this place had better pasta and quieter lighting. She wasn't wrong. It was their second date, and the wine was easy, the conversation easier. Daniel thought it was going well. What he didn't know, what most men don't know, was that Lena had already noticed 1,000 things about him. Women do that, quietly, without fanfare, with eyes that gather the full picture before men even realize they're being studied. The first thing Lena noticed was how he treated people he didn't need to impress. When they walked in, the hostess looked frazzled. A couple had been yelling about their reservation, and Daniel held the door for them anyway. He didn't flinch when the hostess got their name wrong, didn't make a face when the busboy cleared their table awkwardly. Instead, he smiled, said thank you, and meant it. Lena paid attention to that. A man can wear charm like a suit, but how he treats someone with no status, that's the part that never lies. Second, she noticed how he listened. Not just that he made eye contact or nodded at the right times. That could be rehearsed. What stood out was the way his responses circled back to something she'd said 10 minutes earlier, the way he asked for clarification when she spoke quickly, the way he paused before replying. A lot of men wait for their turn to talk. Daniel, she realized, actually listened. That was rare, and it meant more to her than he'd ever guess. The third thing, how he talked about women he wasn't dating. It started when he mentioned his mother. Lena watched his eyes soften a little as he recalled her Sunday cooking, her stern rules about thank you notes. Then he talked about a female coworker who'd just been promoted. She works her ass off, he'd said with genuine admiration, not jealousy. He didn't minimize her, didn't joke about her success. That struck Lena. A man who respects women when no one's watching, who isn't threatened by their strength, that's the kind you trust. Fourth, she watched what made him impatient. Impatience, she'd learned, was a crack in the surface, one that showed what lived underneath. Daniel got quiet when their order was delayed, but he didn't fidget, didn't complain. Just poured another glass of water and asked about her dog. That told her he wasn't someone who needed control to stay calm. It wasn't about the pasta. It was about the ability to let life unfold without snapping at it. That mattered to her more than any resume could. Fifth, she noticed his curiosity, or lack of it. Some men turn every date into a subtle monologue about themselves, selling their achievements like a resume. But Daniel asked about her paintings. Not just, what do you paint, but why do you choose those colors? He asked what made her feel brave, what she was like in high school. It wasn't interrogation. It was genuine. Like he actually wanted to know her, not just figure out whether she fit into the box he'd already designed. Curiosity is intimacy in disguise, and Lena noticed every bit of it. Sixth, she paid close attention to how he talked about his own flaws. At one point, when she teased him about his phone constantly buzzing, he admitted he struggled to unplug. "I'm working on it," he said. Just that. No excuses, no long explanation. She respected that. There's a quiet confidence in a man who can own his imperfections without shame or overcorrection. Some men hide behind their strengths. Others try too hard to look evolved. But Daniel just told the truth, and that landed more deeply with her than he'd ever know. And the seventh thing, the one that struck her the most, was how he made her feel in the quiet moments. Not the ones filled with laughter or questions, but the moments in between, when the wine paused and the background music filled the space. He didn't rush it. He didn't panic or fill it with jokes. He just sat with her, looked around, then back at her like he was exactly where he wanted to be. That kind of stillness, that kind of peace in a man, it told Lena she could be quiet with him too. No performance, no pressure, just presence. By the end of dinner, Daniel was still trying to figure out if he was doing well. He hadn't noticed how she studied the way he wiped his hands before reaching for his glass, or how he checked that she'd made it safely across the street, or how his smile always started with his eyes. He didn't know that while he was deciding whether to kiss her goodbye, she'd already decided that she wanted to see him again. Because here's the thing, men often think women are just waiting to be impressed. But women like Lena, they're observing, not for flash, not for status, but for depth, for who a man is when he's not performing, for how he moves through the world when he thinks no one's looking. And more often than not, they've already seen enough to know